This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is the Samsung Galaxy Tab 7.7. First to hit the United States with Verizon. This tablet has LTE, and it's one of the few times we've seen the Exynos dual-core CPU paired with LTE. So this is the Samsung Galaxy Tab 7.7. Yep, Samsung makes one just about in every size and size increment you can think of right now. But this one's pretty exciting because, well, it has LTE 4G on Verizon, and it's currently the thinnest LTE tablet. It's only 7.7 millimeters, which is 0.3 inches. That's a very thin tablet. Typical of Samsung, it's very stylish, very light, good looking. And it has a dual-core 1.4 gigahertz Samsung Exynos CPU, and you know the Exynos is really, really fast, and that's pretty exciting. Previously, we hadn't seen LTE and the Exynos together because the cellular radio didn't work with the Exynos CPU, but apparently they've got that going now, so we have the best of both worlds here. Now, the bad part, you know how it is with Verizon tablets. They're not cheap, and this is Samsung's higher-end version of a 7-inch or thereabouts tablet. So this guy is $499 with a 2-year contract on Verizon, and it's $699 without a contract. So we're talking pretty darn expensive here. Let's take a look around the tablet. Here we've got our 7.7-inch 1280 by 800 pixel display, and this is the first Super AMOLED Plus tablet display. Before they couldn't make them this big. Now, well, obviously they can. So you get a higher quality display and a higher resolution versus the Samsung Galaxy Tab 7 Plus, which is 1024 by 600 and uses a more standard LCD. We have a front video chat camera here, and you can see on the bottom we have 2 slots. One is for the micro SIM that goes right in there, and this is your micro SD card slot. Happily, Samsung is now including micro SD card slots with their tablets, and it handles media quite well. Anything that you put on the card shows up in gallery and shows up in your music player, for example. You know, going through gymnastics to actually access content that's on your card. And also improved is the looks. Instead of looking kind of, well, seriously plasticky the way Samsung tablets used to look, we've got this nice brushed aluminum look right back here. Your usual 3-megapixel camera for Samsung, the LED flash. And your 3.5mm headphone jack is up here. There's a microphone. This guy is not a cell phone, folks. This does not make voice calls over the cellular network, but you can use VoIP, which means Skype, stuff like that, Google Talk. Here's our power button on this side, our volume controls, and this is a IR blaster port because this works with Peel to be an AV remote to control your TV, your stereo, and all that kind of stuff. We'll take a look at that. Top and bottom are plastic for better reception. Your antenna end caps, and that's pretty much what you've got. Here's your Samsung standard 30-pin dock connector right here. It's compatible with existing Samsung tablet chargers and accessories, and you've got 2 itsy little speakers surrounding it. Now, this isn't the only about this size tablet that you can get on Verizon. There's also the Motorola Zyboard, which we have right here. Motorola Zyboard is 8.2 inches, so it's just a little bit bigger. It has the same resolution display and an IPS display, so it's also a very good quality display. It doesn't have quite the wowsy colors, say, of the Super AMOLED Plus display, but it does score points for big brightness. And we'll compare them size-wise, and we'll do a full smackdown between these two as well. So here we have one on top of the other, as you'd expect, since the Zyboard is a little bit bigger display. It's a little bit bigger tablet. In terms of thickness, Zyboard's thicker, not humongously thick, but thicker, and it's got that kind of rubbery, durable, masculine kind of look going on. And it's now a little bit cheaper. It is $429 with contract. But again, we'll do a smackdown, compare them in depth for you in another video. So the tablet runs Android OS 3.2 Honeycomb. Of course, Samsung promises an ICS, Ice Cream Sandwich, Android OS 4.0 upgrade, but we have no time frame for that. And it's running TouchWiz, the latest version of it, which I like actually rather well. It adds some nice touches on top of your basic Android operating system. It has 16 gigs of internal storage, the usual 1 gig of RAM, a GPS with GLONASS, which means added Russian satellite support, and in general very good GPS reception. It has Wi-Fi, 802.11bgn, and Bluetooth with a full support for profiles like HID and headset, stereo, all that kind of good stuff. So let's take a look around. You can see we've got some of our TouchWiz widgets going right here. Got an agenda widget. We've got Social Hub. This shows you all your Twitter stuff, and if you tap on it, it'll take you to the full version of it. Also supports Facebook, and that's what the full Social Hub app looks like. It's not a bad social networking application at all. Again, the widget's pretty handy. Got multiple desktops here. You've got your standard images widget, the time, weather widget, email setup, your bookmarks for web pages, And other than that, Samsung doesn't mess too much with the UI. They customize this a little bit, make some settings easy to access right here. You can control your Wi-Fi and your brightness, all that kind of thing. Turn your GPS on and off, control sound, rotation. All your basics are there. Now if you take a look at what's pre-installed, we've got the usual suite of full Google applications, the YouTube player, Maps, Gmail, email, all the goodies are there. And Verizon has a couple of things. They add Amazon Kindle and Blockbuster. They always like to put that on. Video Surf as well. And we've got some account management stuff too. And then we've got Samsung applications, including their Pen Memo. Now, this does not work with the pen. This is not one of the Galaxy Note products, but they like to put this on anyway. So you can write with a finger. And so on. And you can actually enter text if you prefer using the on-screen keyboard. Speaking of which, the on-screen keyboard by default is swipe. We've got a little screenshot button down here. That's another little Samsung TouchWiz specialness. Usually it's pretty hard to take screenshots in Android Honeycomb, so they make it ultra easy for you. In fact, it's sometimes too easy. I've taken screenshots without meaning to, but not the end of the world. Standard application switcher is right here. Shows everything that we have running since this is a multitasking tablet. And Samsung's Media Hub is on board for movie and TV show rentals and sale. We have their All Share, which is DLNA, and we're going to take a look at the gallery. Now, one thing that they do that I really like is they add support for other video codecs. Usually with Android, you just get basic MPEG-4 H.264 video format. They add DivX and WMV format. WMV is not the easiest thing to come by on Android tablets. So we have a bunch of videos right here. This is a WMV. It's showing up just fine. This guy is a DivX, and we'll give that one a test. And the others are MPEG-4. For a small tablet, the speaker volume is pretty good. Obviously, you're right in your maximum now, but it's good. So DivX plays just fine.
Oh, jeez. Here's the thing. I'm a vegetarian. We're talking about huge...
And it can also play 1080p video. We're playing 1080p video right now. It's MPEG-4 format. Obviously, that's higher resolution than your display. This is only a 720p display, but you can get the optional HDMI adapter. It does not have an HDMI port. If you wish to output HDMI to a monitor or to your TV or an HDMI-capable projector. In terms of benchmark performance, as you expect from a 1.4 GHz Exynos CPU with Mali 400 graphics, it does extremely well. We got 3450 on Quadrant and a very nice 7050 in the Antutu benchmark. Linpack hovered around 55 or so, which is pretty darn good. And Sunspider JavaScript test, where lower numbers are better, it scored an even 2000, which puts it among the best Android or any kind of tablet, actually, with a mobile OS. In terms of reception for LTE and data, it has very good 3G reception on Verizon's eVideo network, and LTE reception is decent. It's not as good as the Motorola Zyboard 8.2 and 10.1. That's not a super duper surprise because in general Motorola gets the best reception on CDMA networks with LTE. And we did notice up to about a 9 dB difference in signal with the Motorola coming in stronger. So if you're going to use LTE in a weak signal area, keep that in mind. But overall, download speeds on this were quite good. We were seeing about 19 megabit per second down and about 7 up with a moderate LTE signal. So that's pretty darn good data speeds. And you can see right here that there is a mobile hotspot feature. So you can use this guy as a mobile hotspot for your other tablet that doesn't have 3G or 4G, your notebook, so on. Given the fast CPU here, you know it's going to be good at gaming. And in fact, it comes bundled with Dead Space, which is pretty awesome. We'll check that out now. The screen, by the way, is the Super AMOLED Plus display, really beautiful, super rich colors. Very sharp, the usual high contrast that you get from Super AMOLED. Definitely takes the experience up a notch compared to the Samsung Galaxy Tab 7 Plus, which is, of course, also less expensive. This Dead Space 2, controls are very good in this game, by the way, and the colors, man, and the contrast so vivid thanks to this display. Having a nice look around. Trying to figure out where we're supposed to go next. But you get the idea. Very good, very playable. A little more fun than the average game that gets bundled with the tablet. And we've got the usual Android browser on board with Adobe Flash. Verizon includes a whole lot of bookmarks. And we'll take a look at our site. And we're doing this over Verizon's 4G LTE network right now. We only have a middling signal, so that's pretty good. So extremely colorful, nice and sharp, really fast pinch zooming, very responsive. And of course there's Adobe Flash Player, so we'll check out a video review. Let's test that out. This is of the Lenovo IdeaPad A1 7-inch tablet. Lower end kind of item versus this higher end Samsung we're looking at now. And now we're doing this over Verizon's 4G network.
This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and today we're looking at the Lenovo IdeaPad
Yeah, we got some frame drops going on there.
Android tablet. It's running 2.3 gingerbread, but it's also very affordable. It's around 200 to
And now it's picked back up. I think just loading the ad is what got it.
Wi-Fi only tablet. No 3G, so no contracts, nothing like that. So if you're looking for something you can do a little bit more than a Kindle
And now we've got it up here at 480p full screen, and it's playing pretty well.
This is Lenovo's budget 7-inch Android.
And now for some multimedia goodness, we're going to check out Netflix next. And you can see that our LTE just dropped down to one itsy little bar. We don't have a very good signal here. It's about negative 113 dB, but we'll see how well we can stream with that. One thing I did notice that when playing pretty intensive games like Dead Space and streaming movies, it does get a bit warm on the back. That's one of the penalties you pay for a fast CPU and a very thin design. You'll feel it. It's not going to burn your hand right like that, but you'll notice it's getting pretty warm.
Porridge today, Gromit. Tuesday.
And it should sharpen up as it fills the buffer soon. And now we finally buffered up and it's looking pretty sharp. So the things Super AMOLED Plus displays are great for watching movies. So that's Netflix. And lastly, as I mentioned, this comes with an IR Blaster remote, and that means that you can use this as a fancy-dancy remote control for your home AV gear. And it uses an application called Peel that's included. So here's Peel Smart Remote. And it starts filling in some top picks. And you can enter your preferences about the kind of shows you like. Well, I've noticed that it actually kind of doesn't always pay attention to that anyway. We can switch over to the TV shows view. And it lists things by genre. So it's not your everyday TV boring grid kind of thing. So you want to see what's on drama right now. So you're into Burn Notice. You can tap that. Get a little bit more of a description. It tells you the channel number, and you can hit watch on TV because you can see it's already opened up my AV remote controls here. So this can control your TV and your AV receiver. So you've got HDMI running in through your AV receiver. You can do both for you. So you can turn those on, put them on the right inputs, hopefully, and get you watching the show. And it supports a decent number of major brand TVs and AV receivers as well, and cable boxes too. Lastly, for business-oriented things, we've got Quick Office pre-installed, and this one has access to cloud storage, you can see right here. And you can also create and edit documents. It's not just a viewer for Word, Excel, and PowerPoint documents, and it supports all of these cloud services as well. So you can get some actual work done on this tablet too. The Samsung has quite a large battery, it's over 5,000 milliamps, and that puts it above the Zyboard 8.2. And in fact, they claim around 12 hours of use time, regardless of whether it's 3G or 4G, which is pretty good. We're still putting it through its paces, but right now battery life is in fact looking pretty good, so that's nice. As an e-reader, you can obviously put Kindle on here, Barnes & Noble Nook application, Aldeco, the e-reader of your choice, even Zinio for magazines, so I personally would go with the 10-inch tablet for looking at Zinio magazines. So it can do the job of the Kindle Fire and the Nook tablet and all those good things. Personally, I prefer an IPS display for reading, but this one has plenty of contrast, which is nice, but the color saturation and the kind of popping can be a little bit harder than the eyes in, say, an IPS LCD. But certainly among tablets, still one of the nicer displays. And definitely its strong point is for watching videos and looking at photos and multimedia kind of things. So that's the Samsung Galaxy Tab 7.7 on Verizon. It's available now. Again, it's $500 with contract for the 16 gig model, $200 more if you don't want a contract. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Visit our website to read the full review, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.